DorkLair.
Welcome to another DorkLair action figure review, recorded on November 16th, 2018. The feature figure this time is the 1000 Toys TOA Heavy Industries Synthetic Human Test Body. Please remember to like, subscribe, and comment, and stay tuned for the question of the day at the end of the review. Now, let's take a look at the synth. The prototype build of the male-type synthetic human was developed by TOA Heavy Industries for special operations. The synthetic human will be stationed at the TOA Heavy Industries headquarters as a multi-role agent. Being able to adapt to various environments, the synthetic human has a very high level of combat ability, but due to being a prototype, his outer aspects are incomplete, with the facial mask being a mere shell which mimics the human face. The early stage prototype of the synthetic human has a self-learning AI installed. So this one is the third production run of this particular figure, and the way that you can tell, I'm not sure if there's a way to tell on the packaging, but the way to tell on the figure is on the back of the neck. I guess it's the fourth spinal piece down, the fourth spine down. There's like a little logo there. I guess apparently that indicates third. I don't know if there's like 3 black slashes or something, but yeah. So this is the third version of a figure, the third production run of the same exact figure. The only difference is that little marking on the back of the neck. So, this particular one, I think it was released in 2017, but this was a re-release in 2018. So, my overall impressions with this figure is this thing is all about the articulation. It has just incredible range of motion. It looks really cool too. It kind of reminds me of the hosts in Westworld that aren't actually like humans. They don't have a skin on them. They're just sort of like the worker bee type host drones or whatever in the like behind the scenes in Westworld. If you haven't seen that show, check it out. It's an amazing show. I hope it comes back for another season. It's a fantastic show. So let's just take a quick look at the packaging. The packaging is quite nice, I think. So it comes with this slip cover box, and it's got a picture of the figure on the front, and then the logo for 1000 Toys. Nice, sort of some shiny lettering on there. It's got the name of the figure on the side and picture of the figure on the back. And then it's got a nice slip cover that comes off, so if you have the figure in the box, like if you're kind of like, some people don't always have their figures out all the time. If you like to display them in the box, it's got a nice window display. Or if you're a store owner or something like that and you want to have this out there, you can kind of show off the figure. But that's the packaging. I think it's pretty cool. And back to the figure. So let me quickly talk about the scale. Having it next to an SH Figuarts, it basically is the exact same size as an SH Figuarts clone trooper. So it fits in scale really well with Figuarts. Which means in terms of 1/12 scale, I think it's going to be on the smaller end of what people do for 1/12 scale. Because if you take a look at a 1/12 collective Batman figure, it just dwarfs this little guy. But the 1/12 tends to be on the large side. So height-wise, he comes in almost exactly 6 inches. So 6-inch figure. I mean, I'd say that this is kind of more an accurate 1/12 scale than a 1/12 collective figure, which are generally larger. The Batman's huge. So sculpt and paint wise, it's pretty basic. It's nice. It definitely has that eerie sort of android. I mean, it's got this spine all the way down the back that you can, mess around with to line up if you want them standing perfectly straight. It's got two tones. The white is a reflective, shiny white, and the green is just sort of a basic matte green, almost as if like the white is bone or shell, and the green is sort of like softer synthetic flesh of some sort. But I mean, that's really it. There's a few little gray things, like the joints basically are gray in there. So I mean, I like that there's all these different sections. It's not just one solid color or piece. It gives it a real kind of character. It gives it some character for something that's almost a generic thing. It's a no-named Android. I do kind of like that it has a little bit of character there with all these little pieces. Okay, now as for the accessories, if we pan down a little bit here, you'll see that it comes with two gripping hands in addition to the fists that are already on it. And they actually have a trigger finger. So and they're soft enough, like it almost looks like the kind of plastic that's going to be super hard and stiff, but it's soft enough that if you have a gun, you can get it right in there very easily. And then it comes with two relaxed hands. And it comes with, this is hilarious, it comes with a separate skull face, grinning skull face. And what's really neat is that the eyes are movable. So it comes with this little tool here, like this. And if you want to move the eyes around, and the face, if I pop the head off, it just the head swaps faces, so you just can slide the other head on. And this face also has eyes that can be readjusted and moved around. And finally, for the articulation on this figure, where I think is probably the most impressive part of this thing. I mean, I would love to find a way to like get a Spider-Man suit on this guy and make a custom Spider-Man. I have no sewing skills whatsoever. I have no idea where I would start with something like that. But the head can look, let me move this up a little bit. The head can look all the way up like this. And then it can look, the neck has a ton of movement, and it can look down this way. And when you look down, it kind of pushes the face mask off. So there's limitations to how far it can go without that push popping off. The nice thing is, like, some of the pieces will pop off, but they go right back on. It's almost like it's intended so that like you don't stress anything too far, that it'll pop off before it breaks. Very similar to some SH Figure Arts figures. There's a ton of movement in the shoulders. So the shoulders can go all the way back that way and all the way forward this way. In addition, there's another joint inside there. So there's a double jointed shoulder basically. And then there's a swivel at the bicep. There's no swivel at the, oh yeah, there is a swivel at the lower elbow, but it doesn't really, because of the shape of the elbow, it doesn't actually swivel really. But the elbows can bend. This is about as far as I think I've ever seen a figure that elbows. Pretty impressive there. You know, they go all the way around, all the way up, like crazy across the body this way. They shift up and down. Just incredible amount of motion. There's 3 pieces in the torso. You have the top and then you have this sort of floating piece, and then you have the bottom, and then that connects. So he can bend down crazy far and then bend back almost as much. Lots of side to side in the hips. Just extreme amounts of articulation in this guy. Like if you're an artist and you wanna study the human body and do drawings based on positions and stuff, like this is a great figure for you. The hips do this weird thing where they almost like disconnect. I haven't had it yet. There we go. So that just disconnected right there. So that if you really want to go extreme, you can go crazy extreme. Then it can pop back in. I think there's a little bit of drop down here. Oh, that just pops off. Okay. So, but you can move that around a little bit and position it wherever you want. So that the hips will kind of go back and forth like this. There is a rotation at the upper thigh, and then the knees bend. He can, like, people talk about kicking figures that can kick themselves in the butts. This one actually can. No joke, this one can go all the way back. So quite impressive with those double knee joints. He can do the splits this far. And if you pop them down, it might even be further. I'm not totally sure. It's hard to get this side down, but he might be able to go a little bit further if you pop those down. And then finally, the feet have that angled joint like that. Rotation forward and back. Incredible. I mean, just look at that. And the toes are articulated as well. So, I mean, the articulation on this guy is just absolutely incredible. The positions you can get him in are just amazing, and it's just so impressive. Like that's the impressive part of it is the articulation, really. It's just so neat. I think its retail price is $65, which is a little high for something that's not like a branded thing where there's no licensing fees or anything like that. So at least I don't think there are. I don't think it's part of any sort of like intellectual property aside from, you know, what 1000 Toys has created here. So I don't know. To me, it's a little high, but you're also getting the most articulation you could probably find. And this is not like Revoltech figures, like where you're seeing all these crazy joints. I know you can see joints on it, but they're fairly smooth and unbroken as compared to something like a Revoltech figure. And it's readily available. I think it was kind of hard to find until this third wave came out, this third reissue. So they must have like really upped the production on this because it's not even sold out anywhere as far as I know. So it's not like it's a hard figure to find. You'll be able to find it if you want it. And thanks for watching. Okay, so for the question of the day, what would you like to see next on the DorkLair? A specific figure, a general product line, your favorite property, something in another scale? Let us know in the comment section below. And remember to hit those like and subscribe buttons. Thanks for watching. Find links to the DorkLair Collecting Podcast and our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram pages in the description below this video. And until next time, may the Force be with you. DorkLair!